while expose myself, right? That even though I've got a background in accounting, early on in my career and even in our marriage, I didn't really know how to manage money.
Welcome to Our 2 Cents, a podcast about money, real life, and the decisions that shape both. Welcome to the Our 2 Cents podcast. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Lyle.
And this is our very first episode. We are finally here.
We've made it.
I know. We've been planning this podcast for a long time.
More than a year.
Yeah. And we are so excited to share with you our journey, more about faith and money and finances and everything we've learned along the way in our almost 10 years of marriage.
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure. We've got lots of stories, just things we've been through that we see other people going through too, right? And we honestly believe that our story has the ability to help people. So I believe that's part of why we've started this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to start this podcast just to share what we've learned along the road. Finances are such a sticky topic in marriage, of course, but in families in general. And everyone was raised a little bit differently, just like we are, from two different countries, and have very different experiences when it comes to finances. And we wanted to share that with our listeners, our watchers out there. And if a little bit of it helps, that's what matters.
Yeah. And if you don't know who we are, if you've just stumbled across this podcast, this is my amazing wife, Brittany. She's got a background in HR, and my background is accounting. I've been an accountant for over 20 years.
Yep.
But as we delve into these things, we'll quickly, expose myself, right? That even though I've got a background in accounting, early on in my career and even in our marriage, I didn't really know how to manage money.
Yeah.
I knew how to manage millions of dollars for corporations, but when it came to my own past experiences, the way I was reared, not that it was bad by any means, but just my norm differed to Brittany's norm. And I quickly had to change things, and she, same on her side, but together we've formulated a financial plan that works for our family.
Yeah.
And each family should have their own roadmap, right? And so we're just going to share different things that we've done, what we are doing, and what we've learned along the way.
Yeah, we just felt like there was a big gap in the finance space. You have a lot of information about investing in crypto and stocks and all the things that are going on in the market, and the very technical side of finances. But then you also have like getting out of debt, and there's some great content out there on getting out of debt. But there's not a lot of content that speaks to families and speaks to the real life examples of school schedules and sports fees and picky eaters and everything else you experience as parents. We have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. And those are the things that I want to listen to, I want to learn from. And so that's another reason why we started this podcast, is to speak to families, to speak to parents, to speak to couples, and to speak to single people on, the real life behind all the finances.
Yeah. And also just like identifying what matters to you, right?
Sure.
Even well, with us as an example, we took a couple of years ago a stance for you to move away from your job, right? And to become a stay-at-home mom for a season. And to a lot of people, that possibly didn't make sense. You had a good career, and we decided that's not what we should be doing. So all of a sudden, you don't have that second income, which was a luxury, and you're able to do a lot more. And you just have to pivot. And so just knowing what season you find yourself in, and knowing that you don't have to impress other people. It's okay to own your own journey. I think that's something that's helped me too along this journey that we've been on for about 10 years now, is like, this is our journey.
Yeah.
And so if I look at other people, they doing this and doing that, that might not be something that I truly want to do. But if you keep your eyes on the Joneses, right, eventually you're going to want what they have, and you're going to find out that it's not going to be fulfilling to you because it's not really important to you. It's just like, find your lane.
I wouldn't mind having the Cowboy Stadium.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah.
It's not too far down the road.
Yeah. Apologize. I can't provide that.
So should we tell them how we met?
Yeah.
Okay. So back in 2014, I was in a wedding with a good friend of mine that I had gone to college with. And a couple months prior to that, Lau was, this is my favorite term, the seventh wheel.
That was
At a football game.
Yeah.
It was him and 3 other married couples. So he was at a NCAA football game, and my friend who I was in the wedding with was there. So fast forward a couple months, she was going on how she met the South African. I used to travel a lot and for work. I worked in the nonprofit space and humanitarian aid. And so she knew that travel was something that was very important to me. And she had met Lyle at this football game, and so she was going on. So then she tried to set up a
Double dates.
a game
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Not so much a double date, but like have
Yeah.
everyone over. I ended up having a work event, so I couldn't go. And so it was Martin Luther King Day, 2015. I will never forget because I was up at a very early hour letting the dog out to go to the restroom. I had just gotten a puppy and I lived in the second floor of an apartment. So I was woken up at 5 o'clock by him whimpering, and it's a holiday. So,
I wasn't whimpering. It was the puppy.
yes,
Just
the
to be clear.
dog.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, the dog woke me up very early on a public holiday. So I was taking him out. And then when I got home, or when I got back in, I had a text and I'm like, who is texting me on a holiday? Like that kind of worried me. I thought something was going on with my family or something was wrong because everyone should have been sleeping on the holiday. You want to tell your side of the story from there?
Yeah. So imagine this, right? I am a 30-year-old, and so
Yeah.
I'm at school
With a
and
bunch of 18-year-olds,
a bunch of
uh-huh,
18, 19-year-old kids, students. Yeah.
students.
And I'm at a party the night before, like a little get together at somebody's house the night before Martin Luther King Day. And
Yeah, Sunday night.
Sunday night, one of the guys comes in and says, "Let's go on a road trip. Let's go to a lake." And I'm like, "Dude, there's no lakes in Oklahoma that's going to
In the
be
middle of
open
nowhere.
in the middle of
Mhm.
nowhere at night." And he says, "Okay, cool. Let's go to Texas." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's go to Texas," because I love Texas, right? And even before meeting Brittany, like this is the part of the country that I wanted to live in. And so we jumped in the car, myself, a guy and a girl, and we drive to
In the
Texas,
middle of the night.
middle of the night.
Yeah.
Random GPS
Yep.
coordinates. We could have gone anywhere in Texas. We could have gone to Houston. We could have gone to Fort Worth, to Dallas. But we put random coordinates in, and we ended up in Dallas. And it's like 5:30 or whatever in the morning, and I'm like, I don't know what we just got ourselves into, but I know a girl. I don't really know this girl. I texted her one
He texted
time.
me one time. He had gotten my phone number
Yeah.
from said friend who was going to set up the
Yeah.
date night and had sent me one text of like, "Hey, got your number.
Yep.
Nice. Hopefully we'll meet one day." And I was thinking like, this dude's in Oklahoma. I'm happily in my career in Texas, and like, okay, nothing's going to happen.
Little did she know. Little did I know. And so what happened was texted her, and lo and behold, the Starbucks that we ended up randomly was the one
Literally a mile from my
a mile from my
apartment.
apartment.
The Starbucks that I would go to is where they were. It was kind of crazy. I was getting ready to go back to bed after letting the dog out, and I get this text. And I'm like, "What? Okay." And so he was asking if I knew any places for breakfast that were open. I think that was the question.
That was the question.
And I had a roommate at the time. Sorry to that roommate because I invited them over in my like sleepy state. I thought, well, at least he's with two other people and another girl, another guy and another girl. So like he can't murder me or nothing could go wrong,
Yeah.
right? And so invited them over because I thought, well, maybe they want to like brush their teeth and freshen up before I had plans with my family that day. So he had asked if I wanted to go do something with them. I was like, sorry, bro. Like I got plans with my family. And so they came over, the three of them. The guy and the girl fell asleep on the couch or whatever. And we talked for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's how we met.
That's how we met, guys.
You never know. You never know where you're going to meet your future spouse.
It's true.
So when coming from the US, what was your money background? Like what was your childhood
Yeah.
like?
So my background is that from the accounting perspective, I could manage millions of dollars for corporations, but when it came down to my own personal finances, I didn't have a clue, guys. My philosophy was if there's money left in the bank account at the end of the month, you are missing out on life. And so when I was raised, a wonderful family, great parents, but just the culture that I was raised in, we did a lot of things on credit.
Yeah.
And so not necessarily using a credit card, but we had, if I wanted clothes, it was a store card. So we'd go down, buy clothes or shoes on credit, right? Or the other option was to do it on layaway.
Yeah.
But they came a time where we wanted it now, so you'd rather just go to the store and pay that 25% interest. So that was my norm,
It's like the 1990s version of Klarna.
pretty much. Yeah.
You know, it's like things haven't changed much.
Yeah, so just like doing things like that. And so I become a successful accountant, but those practices followed me.
Yeah.
And so I still, when I wanted something, like I would I'd buy it on credit. Didn't think twice about it. That was just how I did things, and that
Yeah.
was my norm.
Okay, so fast forward, you've grown up in South Africa, experienced life there and finances, and you went to school as a student, you weren't making any money here, and now like adulthood in the US. So like what was the biggest shock in regards to finances going from one country to the US?
A few things that probably stands out to me that is different on this side is just also how easy credit is made available to people.
Yeah, for sure.
Over there, I know there's more credit card usage, but when I was starting out my career, I never had a credit card. Everything was, like I said, the store card where if I wanted clothing and things, but I never had a credit card, right?
But wasn't the interest like wildly high?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I remember in 2004, South Africa actually changed the rules. They had the Usury Act where you could charge whatever you wanted, like 24, 25, 29%. And they came out with some different law. I forget the name now. But that's my norm. Even, side story real quick, like when we, like your mortgage rates over here, 7%, people complain about that. To me, that's so cheap, right? Because I was
Yeah,
used to paying like Prime Plus, which would be 13% for my car note, or if buying a house, like 12, 13%.
yeah.
So it's just
It's different.
different.
Yeah. And then for me, growing up here and this being my norm, like credit was used and we went on vacations and we used credit for vacations, but I felt like it was used responsibly and, I didn't know any different, but just the stark difference between like our experiences too as kids, like went to the beach and we would rent jet skis and, rent a boat and like, it's funny, like the phrase you would always say when we first got married is like, it's like it is on the TV,
Yeah,
like
like,
the school bus is passing, like that's how it is on the
yeah.
TV.
And a lot of your experiences, like the boats and the jet skis, was stuff I'd seen on TV,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
like everything that I wanted to do as a kid, she lived out. And it's not that she came from a wealthy family,
No,
it's just that was
it's
normal.
different.
And so, again, getting married, and I'm like, how do I provide this sort of lifestyle for Brittany? Because this is what she's accustomed to, and I'm not
Mm,
working. And so just pressures that comes along with that being the husband, right? Like, how am I going to be able to provide for her? Because I feel that she deserves the best. But at that point in time in that season, I felt I wasn't able to actually provide what I wanted to.
yeah. So what were some of the biggest like learning lessons, life lessons in that season?
I think probably one of the biggest ones was to be content in the season that you
Ooh,
find
yeah,
yourself, that it's okay to say no, right?
yeah.
You don't have to compare yourselves to others. Like a thing that one of the traps I fell into, like I moved over having to restart my career
From the
from the
beginning.
beginning,
Yeah, it
right?
was a definitely
It
like
was
from the ground up.
humbling.
Yeah.
It was a humbling experience. And then I go into LinkedIn and I see some friends of mine who are CEOs of corporations. And I celebrate their success. I wasn't jealous of them by any means, but it's just like that could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed to own my own lane. And this is where I am supposed to be in this particular season. So that was a bit of a challenge. And then also, my vehicle situation, right?
Ooh,
Like I
yeah.
never had a car at first. Somebody blessed me with a car, and it was a 20-year-old car that rattled and was shaking, and I felt it was going to fall apart on the highway on
Uh,
635. And think of it from this perspective. Before I moved over from South Africa, I was about to buy me a Porsche, and all
you
of a
had a
sudden,
BMW.
I had a
Let's start there.
BMW. I had a
Yeah.
BMW. And so, just from that perspective, it was humbling, right?
Yeah.
So, I've learned to be content with what I
Sure.
have. I've learned also that with the right systems in place, that you can actually get the things that you want,
Yeah.
but it might take a little bit longer.
It
Yes,
was
you can go out and buy it on credit,
yeah.
but then you're going to have the interest in all those things, and not condemning people that use credit because we do too.
Yeah.
But there's a way in which you can actually use it.
It was definitely a season of delayed gratification. It was a season of saving up for seemingly normal things like a certain piece of clothing or things that we can often take for granted to just like buy on Amazon and it be here in 2 hours. But we would have to plan out. I remember even like going to restaurants, like finding the coupons in the newspaper and in the mailer. And it was like so exciting when it was like 2 for $20 or
Or
something.
dressing up like a cow on Chick-fil-A Day just so we could get food.
Forgot about that. Oh, yeah. We definitely went to Cow Day to get free food.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that was probably one of my biggest lessons in that season too, being the sole provider and trying to understand that season of our life because that was not what I had pictured, that we would both be working. But there were other like life circumstances that happened in that time that we look back now on and we're like, oh, I'm so glad you weren't working because, you had to make an emergency trip to
Yeah.
South Africa. And that was a big learning season for us. And since then, we've been able to help people walk through similar situations,
Yeah.
like whether it be 10 credit cards maxed out or, a huge inheritance, and they're like trying to figure out
What to do with
what
it?
to do with the money. And again, coming back to what I said at the beginning of the podcast is being able to be real with you guys and share, the struggles that we found and the things that we're going through right now, and learning how to save for our kids' future and learning at different vehicles for that, or researching different vehicles for that, and making sure we're setting ourselves up for our future, and learning in different decades
Yeah.
what we need to be focused on financially. So it's been a good journey.
Yeah, it's been good.
So before we wrap up, I have a question for you. So the name of our podcast is Our Two Cents.
Yeah.
So at the end of every episode, we're going to throw out a question that we'll both comment on our 2 cents. So because the holidays are coming up, I want to know, what's your 2 cents on decorating for Christmas before Thanksgiving?
Okay. I don't mind, right? But the whole Christmas vibe in the US is so different. I'm used
Oh,
to
that's
Christmas
true.
on the beach and just Santa in shorts and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's so different. Like, I never grew up in a house, or I don't know anybody that put lights in their house. So to me, that was different. Why do I want to spend money putting lights in the house?
Yeah.
But I've conformed. I've got the Christmas tree.
Conformed to everything Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoy Christmas now. Oh, the biggest shock for me, one of my first Christmases over here, was you get more than one gift.
Oh.
That was shocking. Some people get like
Yeah.
15 gifts. I'm
Yeah.
like, and you get the stocking thing. Okay, and I know I'm deviating, but okay, my 2 cents on putting up lights before Christmas,
No, not just lights. All the Christmas decor.
all the decor. I'm good with it now.
Okay, good.
And I'm the one that takes the tree out of the attic.
You don't really have a choice anyway.
But
So.
yeah, but yeah, it's good. I'm fully on board with Christmas. I think it's a special time for family to get together and just to celebrate what the season is truly about. So I'm Christmas all day.
Oh yeah, we'll start November 1st. Our lights went up November 1st this year, if you didn't notice. But I think we need to celebrate longer than 3 weeks.
I agree.
How do you have a holiday and then you're like, oh no, you can only celebrate for these 3 weeks? I love me some Thanksgiving. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also not like a pumpkin gal. So I'm like, just go from hot, and living in Texas, we go from hot to cold. There's no fall, so we're gonna go from hot in the middle of summer to Christmas right away when November comes.
Right.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for listening today. We are so excited to share our journey with you along the way, and we hope that you will stick around and join us.
Bye, guys.